ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So in the last class we were talking that how this tamas affects a person, and where we discussed प्रज्ञावानपि पंडितापि चतुरापि अत्यंत सूक्ष्मात्म दृक्. So even the person is a wise person, has knowledge, very smart, clever, also who has knowledge of the self also. Even if that person when is under the spell of tamas, definitely that person also goes round, means is being affected by it. So to make sure that we must not allow the tamas to take over. And moreover, we really cannot take tamas for granted either. Because tamas, anyway, it will do its own job. That's why we have to be very careful how to maintain that, how to manage that tamas not to take over me. Then he puts some more point. What happens? Especially when this tamas and rajas go together. That is really sometimes a disaster. Next verse. Abhavana va viparita bhavana असंभावना विप्रतिपत्तिरस्या संसर्गयुक्तं न विमुञ्चन्ति ध्रुवम् विक्षेपशक्तिः क्षपयत्यज्रशम्. Says, look, very nicely. The point is, he says, that when you look at this, when a person who has a connection, samsarga yuktaha, so who is connected with, who is endowed with, who is influenced by, of course, of what? So this asya means this is being context wise, this tamas guna, along with vikshepa sakti. So vikshepa sakti means rajoguna, the projecting aspect. Now of course what happens, the person get into endless trouble, ajasram, endless trouble. And what sort of trouble comes? Says beautifully, look, first thing comes, the word is abhavana. So abhavana means really you cannot think properly, absence of proper thinking. Sometimes no thinking, okay, that's the dangerous part. Actually if it's no thinking is better. If your mind becomes blank, actually problem for others, not for you, okay. Sometimes people wish to have a blank thinking, you understand. That's why people spend, vipassana is what? Just spend time, money, resource, everything just to blank your mind. So what I am doing, I want to think, not to think. I am thinking and not thinking. Okay, that's a better word, okay? However, so if there is no thinking at all, absolutely no problem. Problem is we have small thinking that changing, and God knows in which way it does. Then he says, va or viparita bhavana. Exactly opposite. So you want to think something, that fellow brings some other point. You understand? What a curse, okay? It is exactly like, when you start learning cycle especially, this is how we have seen it. When you start learning bicycle, of course there are some people are there, then the road will be so long, some 20 feet or 30 feet those days, not big. And somewhere there will be one pillar, okay? Some pole. And the fellow will say, hey, look, don't hit there. Now 20 feet, 30 feet road will be there. Your eyes were nowhere except on that pole, okay? Then finally say, no, not to hit, I should not hit, I should not hit. Then finally what you do? Pa! Okay, bicycle nothing happens. Sometimes little bit pain takes place and you fall down, some scratch, over. So like how it happens, same thing also, viparita bhavana. What exactly you want to think, it comes or it happens or just opposite way. What a painful thing. And said awesome bhavana. So awesome bhavana means there is no definite. So lack of definite thinking, uncertainty, and vipratipati, doubting, maybe, may not. I think so, I don't think so. That means you are not clear, you are not sure. And all these things happens, Devego, because of the sansarga yuktam, being connection with what? Tamas, and of course later on rajas. That's right. Na vimunchati dhrubam. Certainly it never leaves. This sort of things never leaves. And of course, Vikshepa Shakti, when this thing joins, Vikshepa Shakti takes over. This Rajaguna takes over. Kshepayati Ajasram puts you into many or different type of or endless troubles. So in short, whatever troubles that we have, we think all our troubles are related to others. The difficulties that we have is related to others. But in reality, all troubles and difficulties, especially mental troubles, related to one's own self, but here one's own self is being presented through tamas and rajas. Imagine, now, let us say this best example, all of you are connected to India. Now when you see the graph of India, especially this COVID graph, okay, is falling down, you all are happy. When the graph is going up, you are unhappy. Why? Because you are connected to India. Suppose if you are not connected to India, will it matter to you whether the India graph is going very high or falling down? Okay, when you know it's too extreme, poor people, what to do? That's all. Every day you read newspaper. Every day you see the news channels or in the YouTube or wherever in your phone. Lot of death news you see. Really, does it matter you much? It becomes just another information. Okay, like oh, poor people, poor fellows, like that. You understand? Whereas, if you are involved or something is connected to you, you is involved. What happens? How many times do you read? How many ways you try to look, try to understand? So in short, so wherever I am involved, so me involved means what? Again, Rajaguna and Tamoguna. We'll see as it goes. There the problem starts. So the whole life is, that's why when Arjuna was told by in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna, Nitya Sattostha Bhavaha. Make sure, Nitya means all the time. So make sure that Sattva Guna should increase. So whole life, because more we'll see, because verses will talk, let me not jump into, okay? Okay, fine. Then if this is the case, now also we would like to know, what is Tamoguna? What does it do? Let us read. Ajnanam alasya jadatva nidra प्रमाद मूढ़त्व मुखास्तमो गुणा एते प्रयुक्तो नैर्वेति किंचित् निद्रालुवत् स्तंभवदेव तिष्ठति. Says beautifully. Now if you look at, so these are the attributes of tamo guna. And what are they? Look, ajnanam. You know ajnanam. What is ajnanam? Ignorance. Alasya. You understand? Laziness, okay? So including the class. In fact, there is a beautiful saying, okay? So there is a blessing of Nidra Devi. Okay? So Nidra Devi, it seems, has blessed. If you cannot get sleep, during class time, if you are being seated, automatically I'll come and bless you. So Nidra Devi means sleep, okay? So the moment you are in the class, and interestingly, if you are a little tired, close your eyes. Listen to it. Don't worry. Because automatically you will get sleep, inevitably. Thank God, all of you are putting the video on. Imagine if the video is not on. Like, for example, now this Australia couple, see, for us now winter, summer for all of us. For them it is winter now. So I could make out the dress, okay? So now, okay, now let it on. Now, of course, wall is there. Take the help of the support of the wall, okay? Automatically tell me, Nidra Devi will come or not. Nidra Devi just is waiting. And for them also it's already night, okay? Coming back. Alasya, laziness. And of course, Jadatum. Jadatum is very dull. So mental laziness, physical, both are there, okay? So mentally is dullness, physically the laziness. And of course, sleepy, nidra. Pramada. So pramada means always inadvertentness. So all the time, you do not know what you are doing, what are you doing. Always doubtful. Not sure. Mudhatva mukhaha. So mudhatva mukhaha means really always you are deluded. What you talk now, next moment you are not sure. Keeps changing. Basically completely confused. And he says, eteihi tamo gunaha. And of course, the person who is really tied up with this, what happens to that person? Prayuktahi beti kinchit. That no beti kinchit. Definitely that person cannot comprehend anything. Impossible. Will not be able to know anything. And he gives the example. Nidraluvat stambhavat evahi tishtati. That is very bad word he uses, okay? So how he, like this nidraluvat. So nidraluvat means the one who is asleep. I will give you another word. Nidraluvat, not asleep. Asleep is good actually. But the sleepwalkers. So while sleeping they walk. There are people. How they live their life? Like that. Stambhavat. Stambha means like a wood, okay? A stump of wood is there. How it is? In fact, these people life is exactly like that. And interestingly also, I would like to say something. Tamoguna also has got another good aspect. Generally, a tamoguna person will have tolerance power. Because the person is acquainted with that repetition so much, will not bother much. I'm just telling you the positive aspect, okay? So that, okay, chalega, you understand Hindi, chalega, no problem. Other will be worried, but not oneself, okay? You understand? So, that means if really you are very happy and comfortable, have you not observed many cases I have seen also? Like once you are acquainted with a given set of thinking, somehow you manage your life, you are comfortable with that. It is exactly like we have a beautiful two examples we have. In fact, psychologically also we look at this example as we have discussed many times, which is one psychological test. The person who was working as a guard in a good train. Many years he has worked as a guard because all the time he used to travel in the goods train. And when he got retired, after his retirement, he did not get sleep. All the parameters was perfect. But after retirement, so everyone thought maybe after he is retired, so that's why he is not getting sleep. So they did all the tests, nothing found out. Somehow one psychoanalyst said, what happened now after retirement? What was your work? I was always traveling in that good train. Oh, okay. Very simple. So what he did is, he said, look, when you are going to sleep, you need to have a tape recorder. So play something and sleep. And what is that playing? The sound of the train. Because the person was so much acquainted with the sound, you understand? And of course, okay, they did not make a bed to say that is the only problem, okay? But the moment the person heard the sound, now mentally is prepared, okay, now sleeps very happily. Can you see how when one person is, when they listen to the sound, is not happy, not able to sleep, other person needs that sound because it's a matter of acquaintance. So also tamas sometimes gives the tolerance power. That's why if you see, whoever is influenced by tamas, that person will never put effort. Because the tolerance power is so much, person somehow manages life. Can you see this point? So that's why sometimes tolerance is not good. We say very clearly and carefully. Suppose if you are getting happy or acquainted with any sort of difficulties, please understand. If you are getting acquainted with any difficulties, that is a dangerous part in your life. So you do not see that whether it is really growth or you are becoming helpless or you are getting acquainted with it. Somehow you are okay with it. So that part one has to see very carefully, and only one can know, not anybody, okay? You cannot judge others, nor other can judge you. That is a very thin line to understand this. That's why, to make sure that the person should not really encourage this tamas aspect in life. Okay, if this is the case, then what is to be done? This is the point. Point is that to make sure that you are need to spend time to improve Sattva Guna. Now let us look at what are the characteristics and how the Sattva Guna moves. Sattvam Vishuddham Jalavat Tathapi Tabhyam Militva Saranaya Kalpate Yatratma Bimba Pratibimbita Sanna Prakasayatyarka Ivakhilam Jadam. Says, look, Sattva Guna is Vishuddham. Sattva Guna being pure, it is exactly like Jalavat, means a reflecting medium. Don't look at, oh, it is like, liquid. Yes, but it is a reflecting medium. Not that it get mixed with rajas and tamas easily. Don't look at it. It is a reflecting medium. So being reflecting medium, now it becomes easier for sattva to reflect. That's why all sort of reflection happens because of sattva only. Including when you start reflecting about yourself or reflecting about any incident. That is again because of sattva. The more you have sattva guna in your life, you will be able to recollect and reflect whatever has happened in the past. Whereas if rajoguna is there, you will not be able to reflect. You will be continuing that. Can you see this point? The incident will keep repeating in your mind because of rajoguna. Whereas when sattva guna increases, you will start reflecting what has happened, why it happened. So reflecting and repeating is a big difference. And most of the time what happens, it comes back just to us. We don't reflect. However, here it says, being jalavat, like water being reflecting medium. Now the interesting thing what happens here is, when this sattva guna gets mixed up with tabhyam, with those two, then what happens? There is some type of changes, transmigration happens. And because of that reason what happens? Interestingly, based on that, everything goes other way around. But interestingly, sattva being, please understand, as we see, rajas and tamas, they are there. Now sattva is there backing. Now based on the sattva, there is a confusion. That's why if sattva guna is bit more, percentage more, you come out of the confusion. Like the person who is fully in tamas, forget, like Stambhavat, he doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything. If you are fully, let us say rajas, you are angry, you keep destroying. You don't look back. Whereas when there is sattva guna, you try to look back. What did I do? Can you see this point? What is happening? Again you get carried away. Again sattva says, hey, what is happening? So sattva allows you to rethink, to reflect. That's why more one has sattva guna in life, the more the person becomes mature, the more person becomes trustworthy. Can you see this point? And more the people will be able to rely upon that person. Because everything depends upon sattva guna. That's why whole lifestyle, whatever we follow, whatever we do, whether it is food habit, whether it is all these things that we maintain, not for anything. Only it will facilitate sattva guna to become predominant. Can you see this point? Because all these things are connected to this. Because sattva guna by itself will never increase. But tama guna by itself, it will increase. You understand? Tama guna to increase, you don't have to do anything. It is like dust to gather, you don't have to create anything. In your house, dust to gather, do you have to do anything? Keep your window open. Even if you don't keep your window open, door and window close it for a few days, dust will gather, okay? So dust to gather, you don't have to do anything, just leave it. Automatically it will gather. So also, tamas to take over, you don't have to do anything. It will take over by itself. And of course, because of my prakriti, because of my need, because of my likes and dislikes, rajas also will be there. So the rajas and tamas, somehow it will happen. I don't have to do much. Whereas to maintain my sattva guna, to improve my sattva guna, all lifestyle, everything that really matters to me. So that's why we take a lot of precautions for Sattva Guna. That's why if you look at the world, present day world, now Sattva Guna is lacking. And wherever Sattva Guna is lacking, there you will see that astral cleanness will not be there. Can you see this point? You like that person whose Sattva Guna is more. So more Sattva Guna, more you are attractive, more you are liked. Why all these gods are attractive? Like Krishna, Rama, all these gods. Why? Because of Sattva Guna. We say more Sattva Guna, more people like you. So that's why whole concept is to make sure that Sattva Guna has to be increased. And of course, because of Sattva Guna, what happens? The point is, look, not only Rajas and Tamas gets reflected, but interestingly here, Atmaviva Pratibimbita San. So that means oneself also now is being reflected because of Sattva Guna. So wherever there is Sattva Guna, you can see that person is able to understand one's own self better. That's why if you observe animal, they only follow their instinct. They don't have to understand themselves, they need not understand. So human beings also same way. If my Sattva Guna is very poor, definitely I will not be interested to know myself at all. What is that? I am born, probably I am born to fight. I am born to do this. I am born to do that. What is need to know about myself? For what? Because there is no need. Because I am completely under the spell of either Tamaguna or Rajaguna. So that's why here is being said, when this Pratibimba, Atmabimba, Prakashayati starts reflecting, Pratibimbitaha, Atmabimba Pratibimbitaha san, when it starts getting reflected, then what happens? Of course, Arkaivaha Prakashayati Akhilam Jada. How this, if you observe, Arka means the sun, how the sun reflects everything, being reflected. Once that is there, then automatically what happens? The entire objective world is being reflected. So in short, Sattva Guna does its job. That's why we have to make sure that our Sattva Guna has to be really, really strong. That's why what is to be done? Now let us look. He tries to say what the Sattva Guna does. Misrasya Sattvasya Bhavanti Dharma Tvamanitadya Niyamayamadyah Shraddha cha bhaktischa mokshata cha Daivi cha sampatti rasa nivrittihi. Says beautifully. Misrasya sattvasya bhavantihi dharmaha. The characteristics of this sattva, especially mixed sattva, means predominantly sattva, backed up by rajas little bit, and of course tamas. So mainly, then what happens? Says what are the dharma? What are the attributes? What are the characteristics? Definitely, amanitva, adambhitva, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, all the values. Okay? Automatically all the values comes. You don't have to break your head. Not only that, yama niyama, do's and don'ts, you are aware of it. That also becomes part of life. Shraddha, because we have to see, just go ahead, there is no point here discussing. Shraddha, bhakti, devotion, mumukshata, interested in liberation, and these are called Daivi Sampati. Actually, these are the divine wealth. If really somebody wants to have wealth, these are the wealth, okay? Because why these are the wealth? Because this wealth always with us. Because the wealth that we gather, neither this physical body enjoys, nor it continues along with the physical body. Whereas this sampati, this wealth, continues with us after also falling of this physical body. Because based on this sampati, based on this wealth, one gets birth accordingly. If you observe whatever your mental frame, mental thinking, mental disposition, based on that you will get a birth. So that means all these things are more important. And in fact, I will tell one more step ahead. Because of this Daivi Sampati only, external Sampati becomes useful for all of us. In the morning class, we were discussing this point about this yajna concept. So yajna is nothing but called religious discipline, not a spiritual discipline, we discussed. So being religious discipline, what is to be done? Because we think to enjoy something we need something, through something we can enjoy, but to enjoy something we need a disciplined mind. Because wealth can be there. If the mind is not disciplined, will you be able to enjoy that wealth? People may be there, but if you don't have mind, disciplined mind, will you be able to enjoy those people? You may have power. If you don't have mind, can you enjoy that power? So anything to enjoy, you don't need the object, but you need a disciplined mind. In fact, if you have a disciplined mind, without anything you can enjoy. Can you see this point? Just looking at the sunset, looking at the landscape, looking at anything and everything, you can enjoy your life. Whereas if the mind is not disciplined, even if you have everything, will you be able to enjoy? So that's why he says, this is called Daivi Sampati. So being this Daivi Sampati, now what happens? And now, very beautifully says that, okay. This helps us, what he does, asat nivrutihi. So it helps us to make us to turn away from what is unreal. So that means Sattva Guna helps us to see ourselves, not only to see ourselves, also helps us to see the growth of us. Let us look at the next verse. Visuddha sattvasya gunah prasadah swatmanubhote parama prasante trupti praharsha paramatmanistha yaya sadanandarasam samruchyate. Says beautifully. So if we try to see, these are the mixed thing we saw. So what is the characteristics of pure sattva? Look, Visuddha sattvasya gunaha. So these are the characteristics of Visuddha sattva, pure sattva. So what are they? Starting with prasada. So the person has got prasada buddhi all the time, cheerfulness, happy. Swatmanubhuti. Always, enjoying one's own self. Not, try to experience anything externally. Always, Atmanande. Always contented with one's own self. And Parama Prasanti. So Prasanti is very peaceful. Absolutely peaceful. Trupti, contented. Praharsaha. So Praharsaha is very happy. Means uncomparable happiness. Paramatmanishtaha. There is a commitment to one's own self. Not committed to anybody, anything. Committed to Paramatma. You can use the word. The totality. And of course, because of which what happens? Sadananda rasam samruchati. Because of that reason, the person keeps enjoying what? Sadananda rasam. Always in the essence of everlasting happiness. And this is the purpose of what? Sattva Guna. Now, if this is the case, what should we do? So, we have to make sure that in every moment, let the Sattva Guna take over. It is exactly like how you are careful with reference to, earlier it was with reference to dust particles, now with reference to bacteria, especially COVID-19. In 2020 you have seen, funny video still is available. People come from market, so everybody there bringing how, pour the water, do all these things, you cannot enter, wash your shoe, everything was outside, what fun. Now if you try to look at those videos, I am sure you will start laughing at. And this year nobody bothers, okay? It's okay, it's gone, that chapter. What I am trying to say is, how people were careful, also now careful, with reference to the bacteria, and especially COVID-19 bacteria or virus, whatever, virus. You make sure you keep cleaning it. Like the joke goes, you know this joke, okay? Because I want to start a little stress so that I will go causal body tomorrow, okay? So the joke goes, the person starts applying in 2024, okay? Ahead of time, okay? 2024 applies and suddenly discovers, okay, like all his CV, everything is there, but from 2021, 22, nothing is there. Means I assume 22 will continue like this, okay? That's why I'm saying it. So 2021, 22, there is nothing. So the interviewer asked, what are you doing? What did you do these 3 years? There is nothing there. I only was busy in washing my hands, nothing else. So that is true. I am not telling you jokes. So nowadays, okay, those who are alone, that's different. If you go out, you have to ask everywhere, God knows what are the things going on. So what I am trying to highlight here is, leave it. So we have to make sure that our Sattva Guna to increase. That's why, with reference to Sattva Guna, we have to understand what is the food, the people, the situation, everything that must enhance my Sattva Guna. So if I discover that anything that does not support, that doesn't help me to improve my Sattva Guna, definitely in long run I am not going to be happy. That's why a sadhaka's main sadhana is to improve Sattva Guna. And more you improve Sattva Guna, you will discover everything will fall in place in your life. More of it. We'll see tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.